welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, then hi, my name is Lauren. And on my channel, we mostly talk about anything luxury, but we also discuss lifestyle and beauty. So if you're interested in any of these topics, please consider subscribing to my channel and we'll get started with the video. So in today's video, I'm presenting you a thorough review and comparison of the Cartier Love bracelet and the Cartier Justeunclou. We'll discuss things like pricing, comfort level, sizing, and wear and tear. So if that sounds interesting to you, then please keep on watching. Alright, so let's start with pricing first. And first of all, I have both bracelets in regular size with diamonds. So the Cartier Love bracelet that I have is in white gold, and that one retails for $11,900 plus tax. And then the Justeunclou that I have is in yellow gold, and that one retails for $12,500 plus tax. So I would say that the difference in pricing is almost non-existent. The difference between $11,900 and $12,500 is really not that much. And actually, I feel like it's mostly due to the different type of gold. So one is white gold and the other is yellow gold. So I don't feel like the pricing should really be taken into account over here. So we'll go ahead and move on to comfort level. Alright, so now let's talk about comfort level. And obviously that's something that varies from person to person, and that's also something that depends on sizing, which is actually the topic that we'll be covering next. I would say that the Love bracelet is slightly more comfortable than the Justeunclou, and that's because personally for me, it sits nicely and tightly on my wrist, which I really like. Alright, so the Justeunclou bracelet sits below where the Love would sit, and that's because of a sizing issue. And I feel like sometimes it kind of sits like on the sides of my wrist a little bit, like over here, if that makes sense, and that can be painful sometimes. And I feel like, however, with the Love bracelet, it's the type of bracelet that you really don't feel like you have on, like you forget that you have it on, and that's because for me it doesn't move at all. It's not too tight yet, it sits nice and tightly, so it just kind of like doesn't move. And so throughout the day sometimes I forget that I'm wearing it, which is not the case at all for the Justeunclou. So if you want a bracelet that you can like forget about the fact that you have it, I would definitely recommend having the Love bracelet. Alright, so now let's move on to sizing. And I feel like there are smaller sizes available for the Love bracelet. I actually got mine in size 14, so the one that I wear every day over here is in size 14, and that feels like perfect for me. It's really, really nice and tight, but not too tight at the same time. But then for the Justeunclou, it's actually only available in sizes 15 and up, and for me that is a little bit questionable. It's not like super duper big, but if it had been available in size 14, I would have definitely gone for a size 14 because I like personally having a bracelet that sits, you know, nice and tightly. So that's kind of an issue. If you have a smaller wrist, that's definitely something that I would, you know, kind of bring up to your attention. But regardless of your choice, I would feel like trying it on in store is really key, especially if you have, you know, the Justeunclou, or I mean anyway, even for the Love bracelet, because both bracelets are very different. If you have one and you're getting the other one, I feel like it's still really important to go try it on in the store. I think that when I did the review of my Love bracelet, I actually talked about the fact that I went back and forth about the sizing for a really long time. By the way, if you want to go ahead and see that video, if you want to hear me talk a little bit about my first impressions and my experience and the wear and tear of that particular bracelet, then I will go ahead and leave the video in the little information link over here for you to see it. So now let's move on to the wear and tear. And actually at first I did get the Love bracelet, and then about 6 months later I got the Justeunclou. And so obviously I'm trying to keep that in mind. I'm trying to compare them at the same quote age. Obviously there's also a massive difference. It's the fact that I wear the Love bracelet every single day. I never remove it, or extremely rarely. And then the Justeunclou is actually kind of like my occasion bracelet, and obviously I don't have occasions every day. So that's also something that I'm trying to, you know, be mindful of when I make this comparison. So in general, I would say that the wear and tear shows a lot more on the Love bracelet, and that makes sense in its own because obviously it is a thicker band, it is a thicker bracelet, so there is more overall surface where scratches could happen, where damage could happen. It also sits at a particular location on my wrist that is pretty tricky for, you know, when I'm using the computer, when I'm at my desk or something like that. I kind of tend to bang it on the table, which is not the case at all for the JUC bracelet, and that's again because of the sizing issue that I talked about earlier. So when it comes to the JUC bracelet, I feel like there is only like one side up, only one right side. So that means that the diamonds are always on top of your wrist and therefore protected, kind of, which is definitely not the case of the Love bracelet because it's interchangeable. So that means that personally I try to, when I remove it, remember what's the top and what's the bottom, and I always try to stick to top and bottom. But obviously because it's interchangeable and it looks exactly the same, that can be pretty tricky and that can be difficult sometimes to remember. So because of that, I feel like, you know, scratches can occur on both sides of the bracelet, which is not the case on the JUC. And I feel like for that reason, overall, I think the JUC has a lot less wear and tear than the Love bracelet. So in conclusion, I would say that both the Love and the JUC bracelets are beautiful options, and I absolutely love them both, obviously because I have both, so that makes sense. But I feel like if the comfort level is your main thing, I would definitely recommend getting the Love bracelet. In my mind, it's a lot more comfortable than the JUC. The JUC kind of like wiggles around, if that makes sense. But however, if the wear and tear is your main concern, then I would definitely stick with the JUC because it's going to last you a lot longer than the Love bracelet. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video was informational and beneficial for you in case you were looking at acquiring either bracelet. Again, these are terrific options and there's really no right or wrong answer. It's kind of up to you. It depends on your preferences. It depends on what your main concerns are. So if you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.